Hi, I'm Sweet Baby Cheeks, and this is St. Peter's Village in Pennsylvania, where I live with my mom, Sally Winey, who made me with a whole lot of loving kisses. And today in her workshop, you're going to learn how easy and fun it is to make a bear just like me. I can't wait to be a part of your family.
Hi, I'm Sally Winey, Sweet Baby Cheeks' mom, and I want to welcome you to my studio where we're going to be making Sweet Baby Cheeks today. I've been making bears for 15 years, and this is my very first sewing machine that my grandmother gave me, and this is my very first bear. When I made this bear 15 years ago, there weren't any patterns, so I used corduroy and buttons.
Since then, Sally's bears have been sold around the world, and she wants to share with you the magic of making your very own collectible bear.
Let's get started. And I have here with me today Liz, and Liz and I are going to make this bear along with you. This is Liz's very first bear. How you doing, Liz? You ready to go?
I'm good, Sal, thanks.
Oh.
I'm all set.
Okay, well, first thing we got to do is get our pattern out. So go ahead.
Got it.
Your kit includes pattern pieces, a 1/4 yard of mohair material, a piece of felt for your paw pads, glass eyes, black embroidery floss, and 5 joints. To complete the project, you will need the following tools: 1 long doll maker's needle, size 16 sewing machine needle, quilting straight pins, small scissors, black marking pen, carpet thread or dental floss, fiber fill 12-ounce bag, turning stick, tweezers, bear brush, long nose plier, and an awl. These items are not included in your kit, but can be purchased at any craft store.
The main thing that you're going to want to do with the pattern pieces is keep this. Don't cut your pattern pieces out of this, okay? Because if you would lose your pattern pieces, you have them here again, so you can go back and draw that one over.
So it's an original, you save that?
Yeah, you save it.
Okay.
You can collect the patterns too, so that gives you a nice little collection.
Be sure to trace all the information from the original pattern to your copy. That includes all arrows, directions, and names of the various bear parts.
Now you can take that and cut it out. The next step is getting your material out of your kit and looking for the nap. The nap is the way that the fur will run. All material has a nap. You'll have the shine this way and the roughness this way. You want your bear's nap to go down. Make sure that your fur's going down, and then you'll turn your fur over and you'll take your pattern pieces with the arrow pointing down and place it and take a magic marker. You draw all your pieces onto here with the arrows or the nap going down. When you take your pattern piece that you've cut out and written on all the information that you need, you might wonder, because it says cut 4, you're making 2 legs, and each leg has a side, so that's where you come up with the 4. So you would want to do 1 on this side and 1 on that side of the leg. 1 on this side and 1 on that, and that's what will give you your 2 legs. Now here's the arm. So we put the arm on this way, and we flip the arm this way. Well, and Liz, there's one thing here that we got to do, and that is mark the joints, okay? So if you just put a little dot right where the joint is going to be, and that's the part that's going to go into the body. And then when you flip it, that dot's there too. I just pull it up and put a little dot there, okay? And that's where you're going to put your opening for your joint. So now we did the arm, and here's your body, and this is your front side. This is your tummy here. You might want to mark tummy. And this is where the opening is going to be left in the back. Okay, we're going to cut it out. And there's some simple instructions on cutting out fabric like this that I want to share with you. Okay? You want to work right with the back of your material. You can use small scissors and just follow your black line.
How's that?
Good. Now let's just make sure. Look at that. Great. Your nap is going down. Next in your kit, you have a piece of felt. Now, as you notice, the felt doesn't have a nap, and it doesn't have a weave. So placement of these is not as crucial. but you do want to have a right and a left. So you first draw your paw on one side, and you flip it to the other, just as you've done with your other pattern pieces. And now this is your foot pad that's going to go into this area here. This can be of a felt or a suede. This is a German felt that's imported, along with the mohair that you're using. And then you take your scissors and just follow your black line.
And these lines are okay to show, or should I have them on
You
the...
want to cut on the outside of the line so that you have it.
Okay.
You want to be consistent. You know, I mean, if you've cut on the inside, cut on the inside, but pretty basically be consistent with what you're doing. We're going to take our right and left side of our head and place them right sides together. And we're going to take a pin from this is the neck, and this is up to the chin, up to the point of the nose. So we're going to take a pin, and I use the quilting pins, so I have a long pin so it doesn't get lost in the material of the bear. And ease your furs into it, like so. And you're ready to sew from here to here.
Now, Sally, do I have to do that on a machine?
No, you don't have to. You can do a hand, you know, sew it by hand, but if you're going to do that, you should use a back stitch. Next, we're going to sew the gusset, which is the top part of the head, into the sides of the head. The main thing is when you're sewing that you sew in the same directions. So you want to ease this into here. So you'll be pinning this in on one side and following it down. See how it eases right into the...
Fits right along.
Yeah. So I've pinned this to the right side of the gusset.
So you do one side of the head. You sew that
I'm
right
gonna
away.
Just sew this now. Okay, now we've got our head all sewn up, and we're going to set that aside and go on to the ears.
Okay.
Now your ears, they have a fold. And we're going to fold them and put a pin in. Careful not to sew your fingers into the material. Before you sew the body, we put these cute little dots here, and those are the joints where the arms and the legs are going to fit through. So you might want to take your sharp little scissors. It's nicer if they have a nice point. And you're going to take a clip like so. Okay? That's where your arms are going to be, and this is where your legs are going to fit through. And then if you want to fold your dart over and pin it, remember this causes the stomach to have that roundness.
The belly? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Like that. Is that right?
Yeah?
And then pin it along there.
Very good.
This is fun, so.
Sew the darts on both body pattern pieces. This will form the belly.
See?
So that's like that.
Yep, that's his little belly.
Neat. Set that aside then?
Nope.
Oh.
Gotta put his belly together.
To do that, take your two body pieces with the fur touching on the inside. Match the neck opening at the top and the darts at the bottom. Make sure when you sew the two pieces together, you leave an opening for the back and the neck.
Okay, so now we're gonna take this off. Ta-da!
Beautiful.
Body done. You can set it over here.
Set it aside.
The next step is putting the pad onto the inner arm. So to make sure we have it right, we're going to fold it over. See a little paw coming into action here? All right?
Okay.
Now we want to put our right sides together and have our seam on the inside. Make sure it's laid on like so. Okay? Now we're going to sew directly across here. And now we fold it over.
Take these pins out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever iron, do you?
No,
Okay.
not. If you're going to be making it out of a cotton, you might want to sometime, but then you're going to have a nice pleat in there, and you really wouldn't want to have a pleat with your bear. You're going to stuff it.
I see.
You're going to push one side of the material down and up so you don't have a lump in there when you're sewing over it, so it'll make it easier to sew across. I'm going to sew the whole way around the outer rim of the arm, about 1/4 inch in, leaving no opening.
Now, when you come in, then this is
On the fold. Yeah,
and
so
then you
I'm
come in at an angle.
right, and I'm darting, you know, sort of like a dart and bringing it
okay.
around.
All right. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're having trouble with this too, slipping or sliding on you, you might want to do a basting stitch and baste it in place. Or you might be a seamstress that's very skilled at it and you don't even need the pins. You can just use your fingers and do it. So whatever's best for you, but don't be afraid to baste it, and don't be afraid to use more pins. And our next step, these are the inner parts of the arm, and they're going to be connected to the body. So you want to make a straight slit here so that you don't want to go through the seam that you made, but you want to make a slit here so that you can turn your arm and stuff it through there. And our next step will be the legs. We are going to start at the heel of the foot and sew the whole way around the outside to the toe, leaving an opening to place the foot pad in. The next step is to take your pad and fold it in half so you can find the center point to each of your toe and your heel. And then take your magic marker and make a little dot here and a little dot here, okay? And this way, you'll be able to center the seam of your toe and pin that onto there and center the back like so. Now we're going to go back to the sewing machine. Trying to take it slower. The next step is getting the right leg and the left leg. And how I like to do this is I put the two legs together and then lay them out as they're bow-legged. We're going to do the same as we did in the arms and make that little slit, okay?
When making your slit for the joints, only cut through one layer of the leg. Do not cut all the way through to the other side. Also be careful not to cut past the top seam.
The next step is brushing out the seams. And what this does is it brings all the fur to the inside so that when we're turning, the seams don't appear to be stuck as much. They will be, but you can brush, a little bit will be, but you can brush that out easier if you bring that all through here. See how I'm opening up the seams and pulling the fibers through on this side? Okay? Now I'm going to give you this, and I want you to turn it, okay?
All right.
Well, oh, you're having trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, it's kind
Well, let me show you a trick.
All right.
This will be great. Very easy way is if you go from the furthest point, which would be the nose here, and push that through the hole first.
Oh, okay.
See that little nose coming
That's
out?
the nose.
Yeah. Then it very easily comes through. So anytime you're turning any pieces, if you go from the furthest point, now the ears, as you notice, there is not an opening.
Okay.
So you're probably wondering, how are you going to do this, or why did you do this? A lot of patterns have two pieces and open at the bottom, but then when you turn it, you have raw edges. If you take your ear, and you want to take yours at the same time, and you clip it here and open it, but don't go the whole way to the seam. Go a little to the right and a little to the left. Good.
Is that good? Big enough?
Yep. And then again, what are you going to do? You're going to turn from the, oh, wait a minute. We're going to brush out those seams.
That's cute.
There we go.
Any special direction or just?
Nope, just pull it out a little bit from the, now look how that turned that raw edge in. This is a stuffing stick, but it also helps a lot with, you can make sure that those points, see how they're sticking out there?
Now continue brushing the fur out of all your bare
Okay, I
parts.
think I got it.
Then turn them right side out. To make it easier,
use this
use a
again?
stick
Because it's
or
just
wooden
so much.
spoon to help push the material through the slit.
And just take your time. You don't have to push. You won't push it through the, you want to make sure when you turn it that you have it turned the whole way out and the heel the whole way out too. There you go.
Here it comes.
Peekaboo. The next thing we're going to do is stuffing. Today we're going to use polyester fiber fill. The first thing we're going to go back and we're going to stuff the head. And what we want to do is make sure the solid part of the head is stuffed first. The head is the most important part as to being firm. You're going to be placing eyes in the head, so you want to make sure that it's really firm. I'm using my finger here, but if your fingers are sore, just use your little stick there. Make sure that you get that down the whole way into the top of the paw. But just ease it so you don't poke right through.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
Just have to sort of get the feel for it. Now, thing is it doesn't matter how hard or how soft, but you want it to be consistent.
It's just really neat to see it come to life.
Okay, so now we're going to go and we're going to stuff our legs. Now you want to make sure that it's up in the tip of the toe and that you're not really pushing it out that it pops out the bottom, but nice and even. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to place the joints into the limbs so that we can join it to the body then. These are the disc, and we're going to place this disc in the neck opening of the bear and ease it into the opening. If you have too much stuffing in there, pull it out. If you don't have enough, put a little extra in. You sort of want it to be able to sit in there nicely. Now you're going to need a needle. This needle is about, I'd say about 2 inches. I like to use a larger needle because it's easier not to lose it in the work that you're doing. And I'm going to be using a strong thread. You can use a carpet thread. I start on the inside at a seam because a lot of these materials have a weave that's open, and you pull it and make sure that it's not going to come out. And now I'm going to do a gathering stitch around the outside about 1/4 inch in. Now I've gone the whole way around, and I'm going to pull it tight around it. See how it gathered right up close by?
Oh, neat. Okay.
And now I have to do a knot. And I want to make sure this is very secure because, again, we don't want it to become headless. So I'm going to make like a double knot. And I might just do an extra one.
So you go through. Do that slow, Sally. I missed
Okay.
it.
I take
Okay.
it through there, and I drop that.
You hold your finger in that.
Yeah, and I catch
And
the
it's
other one.
tightening it down
Yep,
below.
tighten down below.
Oh, and then
Go
you
through here and
Oh,
pull it in. Now I don't want to just clip it right there. I want to take it in very close to where that knot is and bring it out about 1/4 inch away so that there's a tail left inside the head. And then I'm going to come up and clip. Our next step is to put the arms and the leg joints into the appendages. We're going to take our disc and ease it into here. If you can't get it into there, easily. Just take a little clip a little bit further down because all of this will be hidden. And you want to make sure that it's set in up to the seam line, because if you have it down here, you'll have one arm that's shorter than the other. See how you would have one up and one down. With your thread doubled again, you're going to go in from the underside and do the ladder stitch. So you're going to go over here and take about 1/4 of an inch in, a little tuck, and you're going to go from here to here. And then come around the post. You don't have to do a lot of ladder stitches. Notice I'm not pulling it tight yet. I'll wait till I get down here near the bottom, and it should all pull right in and give us a very nice seam closing, which this stitch is also used on the closing of the back of the bear too. Now watch how this goes, pulls together. Almost makes it all disappear right before your very eyes. And then take your thread into and bring it out in another area so that you have a little space in there. Clip it, and you're done.
Repeat the same technique for attaching the joint to the opposite arm and legs.
For the neck, you'll have an opening, and you're going to use the gathering stitch and pull that tight. Again, we're going to use the double thread and knotted and do a gathering stitch top of the neck. About 1/4 of an inch in, just bring that neck together. There we go. It's coming together. And we tie our knot again, and we want to leave that tail so that the threads won't pull out. Now the next step is attaching the head to the body. Now you're going to take the post and insert it into the hole that's at the top of the neck and set his head down. And there's what it looks like. Now you're going to take the disc like this and place it on top of the post. And take the locking washer, which looks like this, and put it down, and then you're going to press. And hear those little clicks. You press it as tight as you can. And now we have the head on the body. Now we're going to continue with the arms and the legs. Remember, we clipped the holes earlier, so that's already done. You're going to take the post, find that one hole and insert it into there. Take this disc, place it over top. The locking one with the smooth flat side against it, and click it into place. Do the same thing for the other arms and legs. Ta-da! So you can now stuff the body. And you can make the body as soft or as hard as you want. We're going to start with a knot inside the material and come out, and we're going to do the ladder stitch, which is the same stitch that we used to attach the joints to the arms and the legs. I'm going to do one extra little knot here just to make sure. Catch that loop and bring it out in another area and clip it. Here we are, baby sweet cheeks, almost here. No eyes, but we're going to work on that now. Here we go. But before we get the eyes in, we want to trim out this a little bit to give them a definition and to make a place for the nose. And you want to trim them at least that far for your nose. But now I'm going to trim a little further because I'm going to give it a whiny face, okay? All right. And that's what you'll be you'll be making your own face. All right, our next step is the eyes. We have here little glass eyes. Now again, a certain size comes with them, and this is a 10mm eye. And it has a little loop in the back. And I have a piece of thread, and you're gonna thread them through there and catch them on the other side and drop it down. Then there's a loop on this side. So you wanna take the threads through the loop, drop it, hold your eye, and pull up. And you'll have it.
It's attached.
Yeah, nice and strong thread. You wanna use that buttonhole twist. Sweet Baby Cheek's eyes are placed on the inside of the seam. You can get a little idea of the seam here. And they're placed on the inside. So I'm going to place the first eye right inside the seam. I don't want to go through the seam, that'll break it. And you take a sharp scissors and make a point. Now we can take a longer needle and thread the eye threads through that needle, and keeping the eye down far from the needle, and insert it in the hole we made and push it through to as close to the bottom of the neck as you can in the back. See it coming out there? Now we have that placed straight across. Just make a little poke. Okay, you heard that poke hole go in there. Your next stitch wants to come out 1/4 of an inch away from the other one so that you'll have a base to tie your knot on. And you pull that in. Look at there.
Oh, that's cute.
Now what Liz and I are going to do here is work together. And Liz, I'm going to ask you to put your fingers right here and push in, because this is going to give him his little indented nose.
And you're gonna.
And I'm going to do a box knot. First it goes on this side, like so. And then you go on this side and knot it. You can do that about 3 times. And I'm going to thread all 4 threads through the needle. Take them in at that knot, and again bring them out at another part of the head, like we have with all our endings, so that they don't come loose. Okay? Done. And we're ready for the next step, which is the nose. I never put a knot in this, and I start by framing off the face. So if you frame off a nose and you don't like the frame of it, you can always take it out and start over again. And what you'll be using is just a regular embroidery stitch. So I'm gonna make the nose just come back and forth across. See how the nose just goes back and forth across here. Okay, we're gonna go across there and come out. There we go.
But not too tight, right? So.
Well, yeah, you don't want to like squish the nose, but you want it to be
okay.
firm to the. And then come down there. And then you're going to do a stitch now, whichever way you decide to go, across or back and forth. Okay, now we're going to make the mouth, which will make them be very talkative here. So our last moments of silence. And we come straight across. How's that look? Pretty straight to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we catch this. See the loop here?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come up. Now see, we went from here. Now we're under to here. We're going to catch that loop and pull it down. And then come in about 1/4 of an inch or an inch below where we came out. And then you can just go right back up into the nose and start your embroidery of the nose.
Oh,
he's
that's
getting
cute.
that personality now.
Sure is.
Now we're going to do our last stitch on the nose. And when you bring it up, Sweet Baby Cheeks is almost here. We're going to do the ears now. This is called my 3-step method. We're going to sink the thread into the ear and hide it. And you want to make sure it's in there secure, so pull on it a little bit. And you decide where your little ear is going to go. And where you put your needle in, that's where the ear is going to start. And where you bring your needle out, that's where it's going to end. So I'm going to take the needle, and I'm going to start right here. I want the ear to start here. And I'm going to come down to here, and that's where I want the ear to end. So now we have the ear into the head, out the bottom. We catch it down here again.